Welcome back, everybody. This is Tucker. Let's talk weather. Temperatures are really on the rise this week. I have an update on how high the temperature goes and how long this first heat wave lasts. I'm also tracking 2 strong storm systems this week. We'll talk about where to prepare for storms and which ones may be severe. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and here's to hoping the weather is just as nice as you guys on the special day. If you've been watching our forecast for about the last week or so, you know we've been talking about a storm that's been in the northeast and a storm in the south. That northeast storm is finally moving out, but that southern storm is still going to be a big player this week. Meanwhile, if you've been in the central or western U.S., your weather's been excellent with high pressure dominating, but that high pressure system and the sun is going to bring some potentially dangerous heat too. And believe it or not, almost a week ago, I pointed out a portion of the country which may be facing severe weather still a few days from now, and that severe weather chance is increasing. We'll be tracking the potential for storms across a good portion of the country ahead as well. I'm sure you guys know, but all of our weather is connected, so let's connect the dots. We're going to take a look at our jet stream here, which once again is becoming more active, and really it's just moving faster because we got rid of those systems blocking it, and you can see it still wavy, but now progressing from west to east without any kinks. That said, we still have this closed off low pressure system, which is going to beleaguer the south for a few days to come. A couple features I want you to note as I move this forward though, you have that ridge in the central and western US, and basically that's the jet stream bowing up like this. And as it bows up, it's basically squirming around a heat dome, and you can see where that heat dome more or less will be. That's where our hot weather is going to be. So right in here, expect temperatures to be well above average as we get into our first real heat wave. Meanwhile, if you're in the south, you're evading the heat here from this low, but it's going to stay a bit gray and rainy too. Moving this along even further, we're seeing our next chance for severe weather come into play. And if you take a look towards the central US here, moving into Wednesday, and we've been talking about this for quite some time. Beginning in middle of next week, we see severe weather threats increase as well. Yeah, there it is. That was last Tuesday. This jet is going to be racing across the central U.S., and as it does, it will bring the chance for severe weather to the north central U.S. and even portions of the Midwest on Wednesday. And if I move this forward, you're still going to see it spreading out and even strengthening into Thursday as well. And because there's a lot of wind energy here and it's taking that dip, that tells us there's going to be instability and wind energy side by side. And that's how you get severe weather. Even on Friday, I'll mention, I wouldn't be surprised if we still have a threat for severe weather somewhere out here in what may be a multi-day threat. Though luckily, if you're in the south, that also removes the persistent upper level low bringing the showers and rain. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed already or turned on notifications, be sure to do so. I really feel I'm giving you some of the best weather information you're going to find out there. So don't miss these updates. We're going to start with the heat, then we're going to talk about those storm chances, but they're all tied in, so keep an eye on how this evolves. And we're starting with the heat, which you're seeing really take over the western and central U.S. And this is right as we start the week off here, and really Sunday and Monday are going to be hot in these areas you're seeing. But especially as we head into Monday and Tuesday, in the southwest, south central, and north central U.S. That's where we're going to see the biggest temperature anomalies. In the north central U.S., even southern Canada, will be as warm as some of the warmest days we get in the summer. So that says a lot about how warm it's going to be out there. Continuing to see a lot of that warmth spread through the central and northern U.S. through the middle of the week as well. And that is going to play a factor in producing severe weather in this upcoming week too, as all this warmth eventually moves to the east. And while I don't expect so much on the east coast, you can kind of see it erodes here. That's a good chunk of the country that will be well above average and into some dangerous heat levels. And to give you more context, we're looking at a significant drought across the southwest and south central U.S. and the north central U.S., which is going to help that hot weather become even more significant because you don't absorb as much heat into the ground. You end up really heating up the air a lot more. Not to mention, as the growing season begins, this can have some pretty significant and negative implications on agriculture. And here are your actual high temperatures on Sunday, already getting into the hundreds in portions of Arizona, and those are 90s as far north as southern Canada here on your Mother's Day. And as we move this through Monday, you're going to see this heat remains and even expands more. Those are 90s where you see those lighter brown colors and whites in the north central U.S., and hundreds across portions of the south central U.S. Texas now getting included on Monday in the 100-degree heat. We move this into your Tuesday. I mean, along the Rio Grande River, you could have temperatures near 110. And while it does begin to cool off in the west midweek, it's still very warm through the south central and north central U.S. Moving this into your Wednesday, this may be one of the hottest days we see, especially in Texas, where widespread 100-degree highs are very possible. We're still looking at 90s into places like the Dakotas, Minnesota as well. Heading into Thursday, that heat, it does abate a little bit, but still very hot in the south central U.S. and Midwest, and this is going to provide a lot of energy for storms, by the way, so something to watch there as we circle back to that in a minute. And really, it is going to be a very warm week. The East Coast ends up getting warm at the end of the week, but doesn't have the high heat. But for those of you who are getting hot, just make sure you're prepared, as this will be our first real taste of summer. Now to our severe weather risk, and this is the zone highlighted by NOAA as we move into Thursday. And remember, it was Tuesday the 5th that I first told you this was a day I was watching, so you had a really big lead time if you've been following the channel. Again, where are you going to get that anywhere else? Regardless, this is an area that we'll be watching closely, as I could certainly see this turning into a level 3 out of 5 risk eventually. We're still early. There's still a lot to watch here, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on this, as I do see definite tornado potential. Damaging wind and large hail are possibilities here too. If we take a look at some of our other severe weather predictors, this is some of our machine learning guidance. On Wednesday, once again, I've been saying this before, but Wednesday is a day where I'm keeping an eye on the north central U.S. This is Nebraska and the Dakotas. Of course, here's your Thursday threat, and that extends across the north central U.S. into portions of the Midwest. And as I mentioned earlier too, Friday we're going to be watching, especially across the mid-south, portions of the Midwest, as those storms continue. But I believe that Thursday has the highest potential. Wednesday and Friday are secondary, but still days to watch closely. And now taking you here to Futurecast, I'm going to break down all the storms we're expecting and show you which ones will be severe. And we're starting here on Mother's Day, and you are going to be seeing storms out here in the southeastern U.S. Otherwise, this will be a very nice Mother's Day, albeit it will be a bit windy, and you'll see a lot of that in the north central U.S. this week. So anywhere you're seeing those black lines, those isobars, as we say, packed tight together, when you have those isobars nearby, that tells you there's a big pressure gradient and a lot of wind. Here we are onto Monday, looking at more storms out here in the southeastern U.S. I mean, this could be a really rainy one for that portion of the country. Although I don't expect severe weather here because we don't have any wind energy to go with it. Just some pop-up storms and downpours. There will also be some rain reaching the west coast out here as well. And that is going to be our next severe weather maker, although it's not going to produce severe storms quite yet. We're moving this into your Tuesday. You're still seeing a lot of rain in the southeast and in the mid-Atlantic. And then things get more interesting here on Wednesday, as that system that reached the west coast previously begins to spread across the north central U.S. And it's going to be centered sort of right around here. And you can see the cluster of storms it's spitting out and the associated severe weather potential, which will be, again, Nebraska and through the Dakotas. Looks like there will be a low tornado and damaging wind risk, even a chance for some large hail too. Moving this forward into Thursday, we continue to see that storm system develop as it cuts through the north central U.S. and the Midwest. Notice, by the way, that low that was in the southeast, it will have dissipated and moved on at this point. So that, at least, is good news. But our storm system here is certainly becoming strong, and the severe weather threat will be out ahead of it, largely in this portion of the country. The greatest tornado risk is likely to be on the north side of this, and then you have an increasing damaging wind threat the farther south you go. But like I said, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and portions of the Great Lakes region in the Midwest have that severe weather threat on Thursday, with that system becoming strong and staying nearby. And as the fronts become more detached, I mean, again, your system core is right here, but your front is really more like this. You will see that severe weather threat extend into the southeastern U.S., and while you are still seeing more storms out here, I believe they will have lost their instability and they will not be able to produce severe weather. So that threat shifts a bit farther south and east on Friday. Again, I'm looking at more damaging wind and hail than tornadoes, but certainly something that we will be closely monitoring, and I will continue to keep you ahead. All right, guys, as always, let me know where you're watching from, what kind of weather you're experiencing, and if you have any personal forecast questions, I do them for free for you guys. Just drop them in the comments, and I'm happy to give you some insight on wherever you are. Otherwise, again, turn on notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you right back here next time.